Hi, I'm Matt, here in Michigan.
And I'm Randall here in Texas. So, if anyone's been following along, Matt and I have been on YouTube for just over a year at this point. We've posted lots of videos, had a lot of fun doing it. This week, we're going to be asking ourselves anything. We have a couple of other Q&A videos, and we've let you guys ask questions of us before, but this week, Matt and I are going to be asking each other questions.
So these are questions that Randall and I came up on our own, and we have not let each other know what questions they're going to be answering today. Some of these are a little bit talking points, others might be directed more at the person we're asking. We'll have to see, because I have no idea what questions Randall's going to ask me. All right, Randall, we're moving into 2021. Due to COVID, there's a lot of films that we didn't get to see in theaters. So, what movie are you most disappointed that you didn't get to see in theaters in 2020?
Dune. I was so looking forward to seeing Villanova's Dune, which even had the title of Dune 2020. There was a lot of films, obviously, that were supposed to come out, like you mentioned. A lot of Marvel films, like the Black Widow movie and Wonder Woman, which is coming out on Christmas, but not in the way, wide release. But 100%, the film that I was so looking forward to was Dune.
No, I'm right there with you. I think that was my most look forward to film of 2020 was Dune as well. The other movie that I'm kind of disappointed I didn't see, even though it is coming out still in 2020 and in select theaters, is Wonder Woman. Yes, I know it is going to be in some theaters, but chances are I'm not going to be able to get to see it in theaters in 2020, and I'll most likely see it on HBO Max when it comes out on Christmas Day. So yes, I'm a little bit disappointed about that. That is a movie that I definitely wanted to see in theaters.
Being that we've been on YouTube for a year now, this question is going to change pace just a little bit. What do you think, knowing that I know the answer, our worst performing video is?
Me, I would think it might be my solo review of, or I should say preview, trailer reaction to the Jesus Rolls one or whatever. That one's trying something a little bit different with that one. And that was a movie that I had just heard of. I didn't even know it was coming out until, pretty much right before I did that kind of reaction video to the trailer. So if I had to guess, I would say that's probably our lowest performing video.
Well, you're wrong. But you're right about one thing. It is a solo performing video. It seems that people like our videos more when we're together than when we do any solo stuff. It is my solo review of The Gentleman. And it boggles my mind that it is so low performing. At the time of this recording, 9 views.
That is surprising too, especially with the film, what it is, The Gentleman stuff. I'm surprised by that.
It was, in my opinion, a very good film. You guys can go check out the review, please. Boost. We can get it to double digits. I know we can. It is super surprising because it's a Ritchie film, and a Guy Ritchie film that we also did a review on is Snatch, and it is one of our dark horse best performing videos. Hey, the YouTube algorithm is weird sometimes.
All right, Randall, I got another question for you, and it kind of ties a little bit more with that question I asked you first about what film you're disappointed you didn't get to see in theaters. Now that a lot of movies are going to streaming and on demand and different stuff like that instead of being right to the theaters first, how do you feel about the future of movie theaters going forward?
So I still want to see theater movies. I think the ambiance, the environment is just so much better than most of us get, even with some of the best home video setups, unless you have your own little mini theater, which, some people do.
Welcome to paradise.
I'm really looking forward to going back to movie theaters, but I mean, our very first video, which is literally the worst video that we've ever made, talks about Disney Plus and is it worth subscribing to? And in that video, not that you can hear me because again, its audio is terrible, especially on mine. I point out it won't be long, although I didn't know that a pandemic was coming. It won't be long before Disney starts releasing movies on their platform and charging here. come watch this movie here instead of going to the theaters. Because why give the theaters a chunk of the, the change, basically? I'm looking forward to going back to theaters, but I am not surprised at the route that it's taken.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I kind of see them doing more stream service. I think that it's easier for studios and stuff to make money that way than to actually have in theaters. But I really do enjoy going to the theaters. There's something about seeing a movie in theaters. It adds something to the film. I think there's an experience that you get there from actually going to see a flick that you can't get at home, no matter how good your home theater system is. Maybe if you have like your own auditorium at home where you have a whole bunch of your friends and stuff in there watching the movie with you. But still, I think there's something to be said about going to the movie theaters and stuff. And yeah, that I really hope that doesn't become like a harder, reserved for only a select few movies. I definitely want to see movie theaters be the norm.
Yeah, very much so. And this kind of ties in a little bit with my next question, which is kind of weird. In our review of Gladiator, I mentioned that every time it comes back to theaters, I will go see it in theaters because it's such an experience. But I also point out, hey, that Russell Crowe is basically like my favorite actor. That kind of got me thinking, Matt, who's your favorite actor? You're so anti-picking or choosing like this one person. But I have to know, do you have a favorite actor? Because I honestly don't even know.
That's really hard. If I have to really go on and go on one and say, you know what, this is one that I've seen a lot of their films and I keep going back to their films and they're still enjoyable and stuff, I would have to say it's probably Jim Carrey. His comedy movies and stuff I'm a really big fan of. And even some of his more serious films, Jim Carrey to me is still a draw. Even for like the Sonic movie, I was still happy to see that one with Jim Carrey in it. So, I think I'd have to go with Jim Carrey. If I had to say if there's one actor maybe I'm a little bit jealous of or whatever, it's probably Ryan Gosling. What can that man not do, honestly? What can that man not do?
I always told you, you're special.
So, Randall, our fans know that we're big Star Wars and Star Trek fans. A lot of times it's featured in our backgrounds and stuff, and we like to touch on those comments too, especially when those movies and shows come out. I'm kind of interested with what's coming out with the different shows and movies and stuff. Which one of the fandoms do you think has the, I would say, most positive near future? Star Wars or Star Trek?
Oh, I hate you. You're boxing me into a corner with this one. Okay, if we're just talking shows, which is kind of how you've labeled the question, right now Star Wars is doing a better job. They are, Clone Wars ended with Season 7 very, very well. The Mandalorian Season 1, which we have a review of, you can go check it out, was widely praised by critics, and we liked it a lot. And so far, The Mandalorian Season 2 has lived up to my expectations. We'll be doing a review on that. Now, Star Trek. I got through 2.5 episodes of Lower Decks before I stopped watching it. I am obviously a devout Star Trek fan, okay? And Lower Decks was so disappointing to me. It wasn't a good Star Trek show. It wasn't even funny. It was not entertaining to me. Maybe one day I'll pick it back up, but like I've never ever stopped watching a Star Trek series, and I stopped watching Lower Decks. Picard was pretty good, and we're going to be doing a season 3 review of Star Trek Discovery, so I don't want to get too spoilery, but I think that Discovery's finally found some of its legs in a good way. But to answer your question, I know I've droned on. Right now, TV-wise, Star Wars is taking it.
I think a big part of this question, what I was asking, is a right now thing. This changes. I think if, we look in the future and stuff, it could change. If I had asked this question a while ago, I think it would be different. I think Star Wars has done really good with The Mandalorian so far. We're just halfway or so through the second season right now when we're recording this, and I really did like how Clone Wars ended. But at the same time, too, I wasn't really all that happy when it comes to, like, movies like Rise of Skywalker and stuff. And I really did enjoy, the new, Calvin universe or whatever Star Trek films. Even though they might not perfectly fit with older Star Trek films, for me, I really enjoyed those. So I think this is definitely something that might change. But right now, I think with how these shows have come out for Star Wars, I think that's where it is for me. But we'll see. This very well could change in a couple years or so.
Right now, the Star Wars universe is fractured, as you said, between the movies and the television shows, which seem to be doing much better. And my question to you is, wouldn't you have loved to see someone like Dave Filoni working with Jon Favreau on the sequel trilogy? Give them not just the small picking TV stuff, but give them a movie, give them maybe a trilogy, give them something within the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, I think a big thing, a reason that the sequels didn't really hit for me is because they didn't have like that overall visionary look, feel through, the first one through the third film in the sequel trilogy and stuff. And I think Disney was really looking at stuff to like bring people in. Like JJ would be something to bring people in. Favreau, I mean, until like Marvel really hits and stuff, I don't know that Favreau really brings people in. And Filoni, unless you've seen Clone Wars and Rebels or whatever, you probably don't know Dave Filoni all too well. So I think you bring in Star Wars fans, like the hardcore Star Wars fans, but not really the like the mainstream or whatever you want to say, the general Star Wars fans with that too. But yeah, would I like to? I definitely would. I mean, it looks like, Filoni really has a vision for Star Wars and stuff. And he's working a lot with George Lucas as well too, to basically, keep grounded in, what George Lucas really wanted with Star Wars, what's the main idea and everything with Star Wars. So would I like to see it? Yes. Would I think the sequel trilogy turned out better if Filoni was helming it with Favreau? Probably. But, hindsight's kind of 2020 kind of thing. You never know.
From my perspective, just outside looking in, I say, and I have always said, if you make a good movie first, then you can worry about making a good Star Wars movie, or you can worry about making a good Star Trek movie, any movie, a good gangster movie. It has to be good first, That's something that I think that Favreau and Filoni working together, they're very good at not only making good content, but also good Star Wars content. I would love to see a movie with them, producing and directing. Like, they care so much more about the Star Wars canon than even its creator.
Well, we've kind of been talking a little bit with Star Trek, kind of with like the Calvin universe, maybe like a reboot almost, even though I know it's kind of like a parallel universe kind of thing. A lot of people are tired of all the reboots, but I'm wondering, Randall, is there something, TV show, movie, that you would like to see rebooted?
What I would like to see is a revamp or a redo of some aspects of Babylon 5. Now, I love Babylon 5 as it stands. I think that the story is still holds up so well. In fact, it's more relevant today, sadly, than when it was written. Anyways, but the graphics are definitely outdated. The station kind of looks like a hodgepodge of 90s, like, oh, this looks fancy, touch screens that aren't really touch screens, CRT TVs and stuff. But I don't think it's just needs to be rebooted. I just want to, hey, how about we just have like almost the exact same script? We just use really nice up-to-date graphics, do it in high def. That one's as close as it gets to me for like, yep, I almost feel like that should be rebooted. Now, not all reboots are bad, though. The new DuckTales is awesome.
Me, I kind of have a soft spot. I just, I kind of want Tron to come back, whether it's a sequel or a reboot or something. Randall, thank you for introducing me to Tron, but Tron, that's one, like, deep down thinking, like, if we don't get a sequel or something, if it requires a reboot in order to get Tron back, I'd be happy to take that.
All right, so last question on my list is really looking forward. 2021, we discussed it a little bit. We don't really know when theaters are going to be open. What is something that is presumably not Dune, because we already talked about that, coming out in 2021 that you really are looking forward to and hope to see in theaters?
I still have to say it's got to be Bond. if Bond doesn't come out until 2021, where it looks like right now that's what it is spring 2021. I've really enjoyed the Daniel Craig films so far. Mostly every other one, but I would say that Casino Royale and Skyfall are probably two of my favorite Bond films. And you know what? Yeah, Spectre was not the greatest one, so I'm really hoping that No Time to Die is really going to keep that trend going of like every other Craig film is really good. So this one's due to be good, but yeah, if this is going to be Daniel Craig's last one, I definitely want to see what they do with the character in this film. And Bond is one of those films for me that I want to see in theaters. Kind of like I was disappointed about Wonder Woman, most likely watch it at home than in theaters. Bond is another one that I want to see in theaters.
You know what? I was gonna say Bond, but now that you've said Bond, I can't say Bond because that would be anticlimactic. But honestly, my secondary one that I'm pretty not Dune, not Bond, but now my third candidate is I really want to see Black Widow in theaters. I thought that they missed the boat with Scarlett Johansson and not making a Black Widow film earlier. Just the whole leading woman movie, and then the first Marvel one ended up being Captain Marvel with a new character instead of this established character. When I see the trailers for Black Widow, I look at it and I'm like, that looks like it's going to be fun, but still tackle some of the more serious tone and nature of the Black Widow character and her sordid past, So that is one that I severely, severely hope Disney does not push to Disney Plus. I want to see it in theaters, please.
Well, that's all the questions that Randall and I have for each other today. Like I said, this is one of our full disclosure episodes. We have other ones that you can check in the playlist out on our YouTube page. We'll probably do similar ones to this before. We might even do ones where you get to ask us questions again. So if you have questions for us, be sure to leave those in the comments below. If you like this kind of thing, be sure to give us a thumbs up on this video. Also, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified when new videos come out. We post videos every Monday and Thursday, so you know when to look for those. Also, be sure to check out our Facebook page. We post a day before our videos come out to let you know what the next topic is going to be. For now, I'm Matt here in Michigan. Have a good day.
And I'm Randall here in Texas. Everyone have a great one.
Next time on No Market Media. Please consider checking out some of our other videos.